gosh, I kinda regret this a little now. Hello everyone! So if you've been hanging around the artist community here on YouTube, you know that there is this challenge going on created by Drawing with Waffles, I think, where you take all your art supplies in one specific color and make art with them. Since I have a bazillion art supplies in all the colors, I thought I would limit it just a little and only use all my metallic art supplies in one drawing. I had no idea I had so many of them though, but here we go. So this is what I will be coloring today, a unicorn with rainbows and stuff, because when I think of metallic paints and sparkles, I think of magic and unicorns. It is a pretty big drawing, but I wanted to make sure I would be able to fit in all the art supplies in there, because I had totally forgot when I decided to do this challenge that I had a ton of the Prima Art Alchemy metallic and sparked acrylic paint. So these are all the supplies I will work with today. It is really a mixed media challenge, and I'm pretty sure there are even more metallic art supplies lurking in the shadows somewhere in my art room, but these are all the ones I could find at the moment. I can't really promise that I will be able to fit in exactly every single little paint and pencil and pen in here. I will do my very best though, but I would say if I could use the majority of all the different products I have here, I am happy with that. So I started with the Prima Shimmering Lights watercolor palette, and I did actually use all the 12 colors for the unicorn itself. Or the Pegasus. I don't really know what a unicorn Pegasus is called. Maybe a Pegacorn or a Unisus, who knows? Then I added the Gansai Tambi Starry colors on top of that. These colors are very similar to the Prima ones, but way more shiny and sparkly. The Starry color set is my all-time favorite metallic paints, so I can really recommend them. As you can see, they stand out a bit more than the Prima paints, so they added some extra glow to the unicorn wings or the Pegasus wings. Then I moved on to the rainbow, where I thought I could get use for a whole bunch of these Prima acrylic paints. Also, who thought it was a good idea to put paints like this into bottles? I had to use this silicone cloth to be able to open them because the lids got stuck in the paint like glue. The dark blue I was planning to use for the indigo blue part of the rainbow I couldn't open at all, so I had to use the blue from the Gansai Gem Color palette instead. Some of the acrylic paints are called sparks and they are more glittery than metallic, but I think they adds a little bit of variety to the texture and makes the colors pop a bit more. These Prima Art Alchemy paints are really pretty and vibrant and smooth to paint with once you get them open. And I found it a bit hard when I was picking out all of these supplies to determine what counts as metallic. I had this pearlescent ink, which looks very shimmery and metallic, but after doing some googling and research, pearlescent and metallic are not really the same thing, even if they look very similar. So some of these supplies that I'm using are probably more pearlescent than metallic, like the Prima watercolor palette I used in the beginning. And I struggled a little with the background. I first used the Kuretake gem colors and I thought I would get this nice even color, but they just turned out grey and muddy and splotchy. So to try to save it, I took the Pilot Pinter paint markers and I actually scribbled with them in a mixing palette to get some ink out of them so I could add some water and apply them with a paintbrush. I also did the same thing with a Wink of Luna brush pen, the blue one, for the lighter parts of the sky because I wanted this gradient from darker to lighter. As you can see, there is a sun on the left side and a moon on the right side. So it is like a transition from night to day kind of, and I think it turned out pretty nice in the end. And I might also add that this paper that I'm using is not ideal for watercolors. It is just regular drawing paper, so it is warping and buckling quite a bit. But I didn't have watercolor paper this big, unfortunately. So I used the whole Gansai Tambi Pearl Color palette for the tail and mane, and again this is more like pearlescent paints than metallic, but it is shimmery and pretty, so I think it counts. I also wanted more soft pastel tones so the colors wouldn't blend too much with a rainbow, so I tried not to make the mane and tail too rainbowy. I also realized that I've almost made Princess Celestia from My Little Pony, so here you go, all MLP fans. I wanted to stylize the sun and moon a little to make them more interesting, but also to be able to fit some more art supplies in there. That reminds me a little of stained glass art kind of. And here I was also able to fit in the Pilot Gold and Silver pen and the Koh-i-Noor paints. And I did the same techniques with the Pilot Pinter pens as before, but with a pink pen for the clouds, and I really like this watercolor effect. And I am at this part of the drawing process when the art looks kind of meh and a bit ugly. It looks very splotchy and all over the place. There is always this ugly phase of a drawing just before everything falls into place and get tied together. Also, it was super tricky to film this in a good angle since all the paints are very shiny, obviously, so they are all catching the light. It is also hard for me to see what I'm doing. It looks really good in one angle and then I turn my head and look from another angle and it looks super splotchy and weird. I tried to use a few of the metallic jelly roll pens that I had laying around, but most of them were dried up, surprise surprise, so I couldn't really use them. The Jolly metallic pencils that I showed in my latest haul video and that actually gave me the idea for this challenge was pretty great. They showed up really well and they were soft and pigmented, so I could use them for adding some strands of hairs and some details. The Faber-Castell metallic pencils were pretty useless, to be honest. It was like drawing with sticks. They were super hard and not pigmented at all. Then lastly, to finish it all up and to tie it together, I used the Canon metallic brush pens, and I first hesitated if I should do bolder, darker outlines, but it felt like it is just what this piece needed, a bit of contrast. The brush pens weren't super shimmery compared to the other supplies, but maybe they shows up better on darker paper, but they were so smooth and nice to draw with. And this is actually the first time I am trying them out, but it is a positive first impression. I quite like them. I really love the cartoony look that the outlines gave the artwork, and now it looks much more complete and cohesive. I also added some extra sparks to the sky and to the clouds. So I first thought that this would be an impossible challenge to fit all of these supplies into one drawing, but it did actually work pretty well. I think I did use almost every single art supply. There were a few of the acrylic bottles that I couldn't open even how much I tried, and a few of the gel pens that didn't work at all. So yeah, it may not be the most beautiful art I have ever made, but it is definitely the most shiny and sparkly one, and it was a super fun challenge. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this painting, and I hope it could light up your day. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and click on the little bell to get notified every time I post new art and videos, and I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!